Today, we're going to look at a totally different way to solve some of our trickiest community problems. It's an approach that flips the old model on its head, trading top-down orders for bottom-up teamwork. Let's get into it.
Just listen to this. This quote from someone involved in a research project. Wow. It just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It shows you this whole tangled web of culture, money problems, and a really deep sense of personal duty. This is the kind of stuff that numbers and charts can never, ever show you.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? How can you possibly design solutions that work if you don't really get the complicated, messy reality of people's day-to-day lives? It's a huge challenge, and honestly, it's why so many well-meaning projects end up failing.
Yeah, we've all seen this story play out. A bunch of outside experts show up, armed with what they think are the perfect solutions. But then, they discover the problems are way more complex than they ever looked on paper.
There's actually a name for these kinds of problems. Researchers call them ill-structured. And what that means is, unlike a math problem with one correct answer, the solutions here are completely tied up in the local culture, the relationships, the history. You just can't use a one-size-fits-all fix. It's never going to work.
So, if that's what doesn't work, what's the alternative? Well, it means we have to make a pretty radical shift in how we even approach the idea of research. Instead of looking at a community from the outside in, we have to start from the inside out.
And just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got traditional research. It's run by experts, it studies subjects, and it's almost always focused on what's wrong, on the weaknesses. But community-based research, or CBR, completely flips the script. It's all about collaboration, you work with partners, not subjects, and you start by looking for strengths. See the big difference? It's not about just taking information out of a community, it's about building the community up by turning people from data points into leaders of their own change.
So here's the bottom line. CBR isn't just a research method. It's a whole philosophy. It's about partnership. It makes sure that the people who are actually living with an issue are equal partners in solving it, from the very first step of figuring out the question all the way to taking action on what you find.
Okay, so this isn't just some abstract idea. It comes with a really powerful set of tools. Let's take a look at a few of the methods these community detectives actually use to figure out what's going on.
So first up is something called appreciative inquiry, or AI. Now, instead of asking what's broken here, AI asks a totally different question. What's working really well? The whole idea is to find what's already good and strong in a community and then build on it, to tap into this hidden potential that's been there the whole time. And the process follows these 4 steps. You start by discovering what's already giving life to the community. Then you use that to envision an even better future. From there, you work together to create the plan, and finally, you figure out how to empower everyone to keep that positive change going. It's basically a roadmap for change that's built on what's already good.
Okay, this next tool is really cool. It's called Photo Voice, and it does exactly what it sounds like. You literally put cameras into the hands of community members. This lets them show you what's important, what's beautiful, or what's a challenge in their world. They get to frame their own reality. And the results can be just incredibly profound. I mean, look at this quote from someone in Barbados. A simple photo of people holding hands becomes so much more. It's a symbol of trust, it's a vision for the future, it's a powerful statement about what it's going to take to solve a massive health crisis. You just can't get that kind of deep meaning from a survey.
But what if you have a really complicated problem and everyone in the community has a different idea about it? How do you sort through all that noise? Well, that's where a tool called concept mapping comes in. It's a structured way to take a messy brainstorm and turn it into a clear, visual map of what everyone is thinking.
The way it works is fascinating. First, everybody just throws out their ideas. Then, they sort those ideas into piles that make sense to them, and they rate which ones are most important or easiest to do. Finally, a computer crunches all that data and creates a map that shows you how all the different ideas are connected. It's a really democratic way to get everyone on the same page.
Okay, so all of this sounds great in theory, right? But does it actually work? Does all this listening and mapping and photographing actually lead to real, tangible change out there in the world?
You bet it does. Take this project, Viva Live Oak. Through a photo voice project, the community identified that they needed more safe, positive things for kids to do. And the result? Now there are over 500 kids playing in free sports leagues that were organized by the community for the community.
And the level of engagement you can get is just staggering. In one project in Italy, students used photos to kickstart a conversation about their neighborhood.
They ended up posting 750 photos online. This wasn't just collecting data, it was a gigantic, community-wide conversation about the place they all call home.
But it's not just about local projects. Sometimes, the things you learn from these deep dives can ripple all the way up and actually influence laws and citywide policies. And here is a fantastic and kind of funny example. Some researchers did a study where they just carefully documented littering behavior in Chicago. They took that research right to City Hall, and it gave officials the proof they needed to pass one of the very first pooper-scooper laws in the entire country. It's a perfect case of small-scale observation leading to big-time change.
So when you boil it all down, when you look at all these different tools and these amazing success stories, what's the one thing that ties it all together? It's something that sounds almost too simple.
See, the real goal here isn't just to publish a study, it's to empower people. Yes, it's based on evidence and data, but it makes sure that data is grounded in real, authentic voices. It brilliantly merges the street smarts of local residents with the technical skills of researchers. And what you get is a process for change that can keep going long after the official project is over.
And that, right there, is the biggest shift of all. We so often act like solutions have to be imported from somewhere else. The most revolutionary idea here is actually the simplest one. The people living with the problem are the ones who know best how to solve it. Our job isn't to tell them what to do. It's to listen and to help them unlock the potential they already have.
And that leaves us with a pretty big question to think about. In our own towns, in our jobs, in our own lives, what amazing things could we accomplish? What problems could we solve if we just stopped talking for a minute and really, truly started to listen?